Well, hello, everybody. I know it has been a long time since I have been on here. How's everybody doing? I hope y'all doing good. I said I was gonna get on here for just a few minutes because I was gonna go live on Instagram, but I was like, why not come on on YouTube and stuff and go ahead and go live for a few minutes and see exactly what exactly is going on. I have so many questions, y'all. What's going on? I miss being on here talking to y'all and having a good time and us cutting up. So Sunday show will return. And I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. But I have a question. Why is it that a man can't admit when they're wrong? Any thoughts? Why is it so hard for you to say, you know what? I was wrong. I read into something wrong or anything like that. I don't understand it. Why is it so hard? Not that it's placing the blame and saying who's right, who's wrong, but why is it hard for a person to say, I was wrong or I apologize, I'm sorry? Any of that stuff. Why is that so hard? And I won't even say it's just men, but I would say people in general, especially within the black culture. And sometimes all a person need is for you to come step to them and say, you know what? I apologize. I did you wrong. I did you dirty. And can you forgive me for doing such and such and such and such? But most people cannot take and do that. And I don't understand what is the situation with that. Hi, baby. I can't understand why a person cannot admit when they're wrong about something. And it's harder for men to admit it than it is for women. For instance, you know, we all getting back into different people are getting back into the dating scene. Some people are getting back into getting back with their significant others. Some people just want to have peace with their significant others or baby daddy drama or whatever like that. So they don't necessarily want to have a relationship with them, but they want to have a common goal between them. Because if you got kids, he ain't never gonna be done with a motherfucker. Not unless you move to a whole different city and state, and then he or she may still try to take and follow you there. But my question is, with the whole situation is why can you not accept when you're wrong, acknowledge that you're wrong, and move on from there? I don't understand why is it so hard. And that's again, that's on both sides of the field. I'm not even talking about just male, female. I'm saying across the board because girls get their feelings and the logic goes out of the window. You want to slash car tires, you want to bust cars out, but we don't go to the root of the problem, which a lot of times is the male in the situation. We don't want to step to them. Or if you're in a lesbian situation, you don't want to go to the masculine energy. You want to go to the other female and be like, da 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 da. Instead of taking it home to, why did you do such and such? Why is it? Or here's a good one. Why is it that you got to lie about it? Oh, wait. Why is it that it takes for you to go back and to damn near have to take in make a person reread what they text or written to you in order for them to understand where they were wrong at in the situation. I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't understand it. I don't understand why, in the words of one of my friends that's at work, take the L, and then come back and be like, you know what, I messed up this, that, and the third. Nobody wants to take the L. Nobody wants be the bigger person. They want to go through and wreak havoc on everything else with the situation instead of stepping to the person and said, you know what, I'm dead ass wrong for that. And I should not have done it. And I'm talking from personal experience because I was sitting and I'm talking to a person. And I said to the person, you know what I'm saying, the way that you're taking the frustration and stuff that you're taking out on me, you should not bring it to me like that. Because if you go back and you read the text messages that we've shared back and forth in the last couple of weeks, the stuff that I was doing for you was to make you feel comfortable when you got into the situation that we were in. Not that I got to make you feel comfortable, but making you feel comfortable because everybody has a love language. Exactly. So Lily says, for me, it goes back to the lack of communication and the accountability skills. Some people don't understand those concepts. True. So if I'm stepping to you and I'm saying to you and I'm asking you something, and I'm one of those people, I will nag on something or rag you on something, but it is not for a negative or a negative connotation of what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to get you to understand is where I'm coming from. And we all are guilty of it because I know I am. I can only speak for me. Let me change that. I'm guilty of, if I'm trying to make a point, allow me to talk to you versus me text it to you because a text message can send off the wrong signal to a person. But if you feel like you're so busy because you're trying to hide something from somebody, or you want to create this montage, then of course you're not going to allow a person to come in and be a part of what it is. And then when you verbally tell something to a person, it's completely different from when you're click, 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 clacking on a phone. Because I text somebody one time before and I said, "What's up?" or um, "What's up, hello?" or something like that. They thought I was trying to end the conversation before we even started. It's like, how you get that out of the conversation? What's up, Jatari? I ain't done. I'm gonna read you tonight. I got you, Jatari. But since you in here, let me ask you this question. Why is it hard for a person when you're communicating with them and misunderstandings happen? Why is it's hard for the other person and or a person to let me see who done came in here. Y'all, I'm on my cell phone, so I'm sorry. What's up, baby? Hello?
All right there, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yes, honey. Um, it's
I mean,
so
I'm not
funny
I'm not
that
trying to be rude about it. I'm just asking why is it so hard for anyone, a male, female, or whatever, to take accountability when a person is coming forth and trying to talk to them about it. What you got to say?
you bring up such because the funny part is I had just watched a good live about this, in which it was talking about sisterhood, and
Hmm.
you also brought up a good point, especially within the black community. We don't. I feel like for me, it's like this lack of communication
Hmm.
and accountability. And I think a lot of it is tied into our oppression and the systematic racism that we experience. But
Hmm.
like you're saying, just on a personal level, if a friend or someone that you love or loves you comes to you like, hey, this is a problem, this is the
Yes.
situation.
Hmm.
A lot of us, I feel like we live in a bubble, unfortunately. And a
Hmm.
lot of that I feel like deals with the mental health, dealing with trauma, past experiences, we put up
Hmm.
those brick walls. And then how I like to think of it, those brick walls, yes, they might keep what you're scared is gonna hurt you out, but it also keeps a lot of bad things in it. Those bad things manifest into actions that could hurt the ones around you that you love. You don't even realize it. So when
True.
someone comes to you, tell like, "Hey, this is hurting me," or "This is a problem," you see it as a personal attack rather
Hmm.
than something like, "Hey, okay, wait, there is a problem going on, and it could be something deeper." And my friend is seeing this in me enough to come and tell me, like, "Hey,
Hmm. And it's not even that. It's just like the situation, like I was saying, everybody has a different love language. But if, like you're saying, if I'm coming to you and say, hey, what you said to me didn't feel good and it offended me or it hurt my feelings, or however way that you want to take and say it, a person should be able to acknowledge that and validate what you're saying to them, not because they need you to validate it. And that's something that I feel like that we as a people have to get out of, is looking for validation for somebody else. We should be able to validate. It's just like me and Jatari had this thing going on. I would keep telling him, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get you. But Jatari knows it's coming from a love area. It's not coming from a hatred or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But someone else outside could be like, oh, every time she see him, she on attack, she on attack, she on attack. It's not that. It's the playfulness. So sometimes people get a person's way that they express themselves. It's because a lot of times I get it at work. People assume that I'm one way and I'm not. You see what I'm saying? Like
oh
they
yeah."
assume that I'm like, I got resting bitch face, but I'm this mean, hateful, evil person that I'm not. I'm like, that's why I fell in love with Dan Plies and he was talking about that. You wanna argue? I can't argue with you. You know that's my whole shiznick right there. You know what I'm saying?
So my
But
question, that brings me
my
to
to getting back to it, and then I'm gonna let you talk. Why is it so hard for, especially in our culture, for people to take accountability for the things, their actions that they do to another person?
well, my whole thing is, at what point does the person who seeks the accountability from that person maybe have to come to a realization that you're not going to get that apology, that acknowledgement from that person?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's also what I've had this experience. I've had many experiences where I've confronted people who've
Mm-hmm.
hurt me or did this and that, and then like explained to like, well, this is what happened, and it's either been put back on me, gaslighting, all that stuff. So then I have to make the decision, like, you know what, I can't rock with you anymore because our core values do not add up.
Right.
Because for
Absolutely.
me,
I
I need
agree.
somebody who can be
Absolutely.
accountable. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like you said, unfortunately, it's only so much you can do. And it's like the question goes, why is that so hard to do? Why?
I got even a
Why
better
is it
question for
so
you.
difficult?
When is enough is enough? When do you say, fuck it, I don't want to be bothered with
Oh,
you and I'm done?
and that's a hard, especially for our community, because it's like we don't want to give up on each other, but at the same time,
Mm-hmm. To keep me sane, to keep me out of foolishness, to keep me from being pissed off and mad, I'm done.
and I like how you always say, I don't deal with foolishness. I
And it
don't.
is what it is.
I
But when
definitely
I
agree with
say
you,
that,
but
but when I say that, then people take that the wrong way. It was like, oh, you shouldn't act that way, just that and the third. Well, how else am I supposed to act? I'm guarding me and my energy.
and I will say I've been experiencing this for because there's, how do I put this, a group in particular um, that I work with, or pretty much shit work life, like, you know how you're good with, like, you're cool with people, but it's not like they not in a circle.
Hmm.
And I just personally don't believe everyone is meant to be in your inner circle. That's just a
Hmm.
personal belief of mine. There's no tea, no shade, but I just feel like I'm a person, but everybody, your business ain't got to be everybody's damn business. That's just me.
Amen. But I've always grown up and believed that.
You're
As
right,
long as I
and
can remember,
that's how I always thought.
my mama always told me is that if you hang with nobody, can't nobody tell on nobody. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I've always felt, is that if I can't trust you with the small thing, how am I trust you if I go out and hypothetically ran over a deer or something? You know what I'm saying? No.
Mm-hmm.
Timmy Star said, I'm dealing with acceptance problem in dental and with my grandmother, and I think it's our community that some folks survive a response to keep the fear or control.
Mm.
Okay.
So it goes back to that fear. Or fear is like if I accept that this is truth, it's an attack on me. And it's like if you feel like you've been attacked all your life,
But that
it's
goes back
it's
to me
almost
saying if you take and you talk to a person versus text something to a person, because ouch, I'm going to admit this to begin with. I've been one of those people that would get a text message and get the wrong impression or wrong idea
hmm
versus me. Then at that present point in time, but then I'll run backwards and I'll reread it. After I done calm down because I done got in my feelings, and everybody knows that if you go through and you respond right then and there when you in your feelings, you gonna regret what you done said to somebody. Excuse me. So I get mad and pissed off and be like, "Ah, fuck this is da, 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 da," and all this kind of stuff. But then I take and turn around and I say, okay, let me read this and see if that person is really saying what my mind is telling me it's saying. And then I get a different understanding. But some people don't even try to take and do that because they're dealing with stress. Not like you don't have stress your own self, but they're dealing with stress. And I feel what Timmy's saying, they don't want to give up that control. Because if I say that Lily's right and I'm wrong, or Lily has a valid point and I'm wrong for not validating that, then Lily's right and I'm wrong. That makes sense?
very much so. Very much so. Because I mean, one thing I think we talked about this maybe even a few days ago, or all the time. It's like we all have different perspectives,
Hmm.
and part of having a friendship, a genuine friendship, is really learning how to talk about things, even if you don't agree on them.
Right.
Like there's
We can
many
always
times
agree to
on
disagree.
right, and that's okay because we ain't supposed to agree on everything. That would be very boring if you think about it. That there would
Hmm.
be no uniqueness, there would be no creativity in that. But again, if somebody really Jay comes to you and tells you, like you say, "Hey,
Hmm.
Sal, this is a problem," one of the things I think about, like what Timmy said, like people living in fear, people living in hurt. That the idea, like you said, just of control.
Hmm.
Some people, honestly, especially in our community, the black community, within the black queer community, is so honestly mentally messed up because of the trauma and stuff we have to go through
Hmm.
that we don't even realize that we have to heal. And so you have someone telling you, "Hey, you need to heal this," but they're not hearing it that like that because they're still speaking, as you say, love languages. Their love language is trauma. Their love language for them is control, giving them the power because they've been so powerless or felt so powerless for so long.
But I,
So
I
for
challenge you
them,
one. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was going to say for them, it's more so a thing of self denial, minimizing, and in many cases, you'll see that person start to drift out from you if you don't start to drift off yourself, protect yourself.
Well, then, with that being said, I challenge sis. When is when are we as a people going to stop using what's happened in the past?
Mm.
When are we going to grow a set and keep it moving, knowing, realizing? Lyric said something very um, profound for me today.
Mm.
And I can't remember the whole quote, but the basis of the quote is basically saying, when are we going to stop or outsourcing our powers and realize that our strength, our well-being, all of that comes from within us?
Mm.
And I'll even take it a step further. When are we going to stop allowing something that happened in the past keep controlling your future?
Mm.
I'll wait.
When when you decide to heal, and you can't force anybody to heal, like you say, like lyric, you said, it comes from within, honey.
Hmm.
So for me, I'm gonna tell you, I turned 32 by the grace of God this week. For me, one thing I've learned in my 30 years of life: don't wait for an apology. Don't wait for that person to say sorry. Don't wait for them to do. No, honey, do what you need to do for yourself. Because before can expect anyone to love me or for me to truly love anybody, hey, I
Gotta
gotta look in
love
the mirror. Do
yourself.
I love myself?
You not only do you gotta love yourself, you gotta do the work. So if you are suffering from some form of a trauma, you gotta get that under control. You gotta be like, you know what?
Mhm.
This is what I need to do in order to get me to where I need to get to. But if you're not willing to do the work, like I say all the time, why you on
Yeah.
my live? Why? Why you
Do
sitting up
that
here?
work.
Why is you feeding folks falsies and you're not even willing to do what you're supposed to do?
Mm.
But that's some people's coping mechanisms. And when you meet people where people are at, if a person shows you when they get to a point that they're gonna either, I won't necessarily say it's change, but grow from. And if you start seeing a pattern develop, and that person never want to grow, never want to admit when they're wrong, or if you told them this thing hurts me that you're doing, or you said this hurts me, and they can't attempt to fix that, what you need them around for? I'll wait,
Mm.
because I don't need nobody else around me to hurt me. I can hurt my damn self.
So can we make it interesting? What if it's family? What if it's mama, daddy, auntie, grandma?
I'm gonna put it to you like this. You know, Jatara said it before I could even say it. Cut them off. You have to
Hmm.
get to a point that you love yourself enough. And it's gonna sound very cliche that I'm saying this, that like my dear says, not only do you cut them off, but you let it go.
Hmm.
You can't keep carrying that weight around. You carry that weight around, you never gonna get anywhere in life.
At
And I
all.
hate to say it like that, but you gonna be keep holding on to this. It's some people walking around right now, and y'all believe it or not, but it's some people walking around right now that someone have died when they was in their teens and kid years, and they still holding on to them. They're holding on to the shoulda, couldas, and the whatnots. They still got power and stuff on them. Let them go.
Let it go. I don't care how what they did to
And you're
hurt me.
not
Let it go.
you're not letting that person go for them.
No,
You're letting that person go for you.
that's right.
And you may say, well,
Take your power
well,
back.
how? Right. And then some people may say, well, how do you know about it? I'm gonna tell you how I know about it.
Hmm.
Grief comes in all different stages. My grandmother passed away, and in a sense, I took a job to get away from here because I didn't want to deal with it. Because my grandmother was a special person to me.
Hmm.
Up until 5 years ago, well, going on 5 years ago, I didn't let it go. I was upset, I was mad, I was angry. And a lot of my anger came from because I felt like other things should have happened. It took me going to my grandmother's gravesite and crying and screaming and crying and just stand there and to let it go in order for me not only to move from that place, but to accept and take a step and to understand why. Number one, she left. Number two, that not only did she leave her essence of her here, but she's always here. So it took 10 years, damn near 10 years, me walking around with all this bottled up and in order for me to move on. So in that retrospect, people use the term weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. I'm one of those people that I took it and looked at it in a completely different light. My light is this: weeping may endure for a night, joy comes in the morning. But no person can tell you when that specific joy is supposed to come. That joy could be the next day. That joy could be a week from now. That joy could be a year from now. But while you're in that pain, while you're in that weeping, what are you trying to get from that? That's my question. Okay, Timmy says awareness, validation of yourself, and having empathy for yourself will help you validate and understand other folks' pain. Sometimes we can't get validation from the people who are supposed to love us like mothers because they are in denial and disordered with their own pains. True. And I often hear people say this: you are a product of your environment. I believe that, but I also believe that you have the power within you to take and change that. Because you could have humble beginnings and turn into a multimillionaire, a multi-billionaire. You can do all of that. And I agree with you saying that a lot of people in the older generations, older than the 40-year olds, the 50-year olds, the 55, the 60-year olds, the 70-year olds, they all grew up. Most of them didn't even have high school education. Most of them had to work in a cotton field. So at 8, 9 years old, they are taken out of school and put in out there to work for massa. Let's just be real, you know. And they did the best that they knew how to do with what the best that they had.
Mhm.
We are not only in a better predicament, 95% of us, because I noticed a pattern. What a parent couldn't do for their children make a pact to say that my child's not going to suffer or go through without having XYZ. So you continue to make the situation better, but a lot of times you're taking away some of the life lessons that go along with that struggle to get that person there. And I'm going to say that again for the ones in the back that couldn't catch what I'm saying. Sometimes when you go through something and it's so easily given to you, it's that much more quicker to be taken away.
Mm.
Because if you go through life and you always thinking that this is supposed to be handed to me, that's supposed to be handed to me, what happens when that person pass on?
Oh,
What happens
now
when
see, that's the
that
word right there.
what happens when that cloud or that cushion is no longer there, whether it's your mother, your father, whether it's your grandparents, whoever that cushion was to you? I'm just going to shield them from this, and I'm only going to show them this. You can't fix everything. And when you're dead and gone, you damn sure can't fix nothing then. I don't care how much you try to prepare for that.
Mhm.
If a child does not go through and learn the life lessons that they need to, you are stopping that child from learning it. Because if we were half the strength of when our parents came up, let's just be real. We so heavy on being politically correct about this. You can't call, the kids the F word no more. You can't bully the kids for being chubby. You can't bully the kids for, hell, you can get trouble by bullying a person on Instagram now. You know what I'm saying? So everything is so censored and it's so washed down that how many of us remember going out and playing PE? That you had to actually get out there and sweat, and it was a lot less obesity then. You know what I mean? How many people remember going out? If you didn't do that, how many of you loved it to go out and to play with your friends, go hide and seek, and you go to the football field or the basketball court, and you're not in the house stuck looking at a video game for hours and hours and hours and hours on end? How many remember doing that kind of stuff? How many times did you realize when you and your friend fell out behind something stupid, another day or so later y'all are right back, communicating and talking? Y'all not talking about going to shoot up a school or making this or making that. You know what I'm saying? You didn't plan that stuff because old school, you'll take and go out there and you'll battle it fist to fist. Afterwards, Whoever the one, you go back as many times as you feel to the need to either get your ass up or whoop somebody's ass. Let's just be real. After the fact, you like, you know what? Okay, so I'm finna leave Geraldine alone because Geraldine ain't nothing to play with, and me and Geraldine finna be cool. So then you and the neighborhood bully done turn to y'all all right, cool now. And then it's just on to the next person. And I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but what I'm saying though is that it not only taught you how to fight and to defend yourself, because in life you have to fight. In life, nothing's gonna be handed to you. But if you don't prepare your children, your loved ones, your male husband, your wife, if you don't prepare them for what they're having to face out there in the real world, who's going to do it? Something to think about.
Mhm.
Even those of us that has adopted our nieces and nephews or have adopted out of the adoption system, if you give them everything, how do you earn something? Because if you was always given what you wanted and you never had to take and earn it, for instance, didn't we all have chores that we had to do? Guys, most of the time you had to take in mow the grass and rake the yard up, which I mean I had to mow the grass, rake the yard up, and you had to learn how to change tires. How many 35-year-old and younger know how to take and change a tire? How many of them know how to take and check the oil? How many of them know how to take and put transmission fluid in? Let's just be real. How many of them know how to take in, you know, if which this is not safe, so y'all deal with me when I'm saying this. If the light the little socket on the end of the lamp burn off, y'all can take and switch another one out onto it and keep it moving. How many
Girl,
know
my
how to
shit be
do
a
the simple
girl.
stuff? I mean, but I'm saying though, how many people can take and do the simple stuff? How do you, when you on a job and you have a person that's over you, when your mother was not around, I'm gonna break it out even simpler. When your mother wasn't around and your oldest brother, your oldest sister was left in charge, and they was in charge of you making sure getting your chores done. How many of you actually sat there, listened to them, did what you had to do in order for you to get the benefit, which your benefit was your allowance that week? How many did that? And what you're teaching your child is something that I'm very grateful of what my mom did. Hey, Nivea did for me is it's not only that, but then you got taught to take your 10% out for church, or you got taught to take so much of it out for you to take and put in savings, and the rest of it is for you to take and play around with or do whatever you want to do with. But how many parents nowadays is teaching their children that? How many of parents are nowadays are saying, you know what? I need to teach my child how to manage money now, because in the real world, you go up and you work 40 hours, they taking your taxes out. You can't be mad and
Well, you
upset. That's
know,
just the way of the world.
the whole thing for nowadays is to get your child famous on TikTok. You know, that's the way of the world now.
And I'm sorry to say it,
And
it ain't
those
for
of us who
everybody.
are working in this field already know, baby. Guess what? It's still you still got to work.
And I wish
It
people
ain't
would
nothing gonna
start
be given
being
to you.
right. And I wish people would be real. And no tea, no shade. And somebody gonna get pissed off and mad when I say this, but I wish people would be real with somebody and tell them, baby, you do not have, you're not ugly, but you're not photogenic. I'm gonna need you to get something together. You cannot
But you
rely
know,
on your looks because your looks is not together, sugar. You cannot be TikTok famous and no,
hell, even
because
you all looking good. Your looks don't last forever, honey. It's gonna change eventually. You might be
amen,
the hot thing now, but in a few years you're gonna be
amen.
some other hotter thing. And then what, baby? You
Huh.
gotta keep yourself
I teach my
prepared.
children everything. He's lucky he's got a nerdy dad, lol. But you know what? I would rather have a male spend time with their child, because a man can only teach a man how to be a man. A woman cannot. It's just like a man cannot teach a woman how to be a girl to be a woman, because there's parts of the body that they know nothing about. The only thing they know how to do is put something in and take it out. They don't know how the monthly cycles work. They don't know how to take and deal with the cramping, the any of that stuff. So there are some things. I agree with this. It does take a village to raise a child, because the older women can teach a young lady, if they don't have a mother around, these are the right feminine products that you go get for yourself. And older grandpas and stuff can teach the young boys how to take and go out and change a tire. You know what I'm saying? Ugly and not have anything going for yourself. Oh my God. All I'm saying is like Lily was saying, when your looks fade, when you get older, you can't retire on looks. It's just like, I hate to say it like this, and I'm gonna be very blunt when I say this. You can't retire from being a stripper. Eventually, your boobs gonna sag. Eventually, your nuts gonna drop too low. You can't hold them bad boys up. Eventually, you ain't gonna be able to pop a hardy. That jiggling your butt, go that all that extra cellulite is gonna be something that you gonna have to get a new BBW, a BLW, a PPW, or whatever you call that mess. And then you're gonna have to get your girls reassigned so they can lift sky and high. But how many times, hey Breezy Bree, how many times are you gonna risk yourself going under a knife? And then how long do you feel like that you're able to take in? Do you actually feel like that you're gonna get a 401k from being at Sam's strip club, or Big Bubba's drop it all in the draws? You know what I'm saying? Big
Not
Bubba drop it all in the
FSC.
balls. I mean, who,
Come on down to FSC, honey. Come
you
on.
know,
Okay.
oh good off of bodies and looks. Come on, Jatari.
And can I
But you
just
know what
say
I'm
one
saying?
thing?
And
Why is it always the ugly ones? It's always the ugly ones who causes the most drama. Or is
because
that
a
a
lot,
different topic? I'm sorry. I'm
I won't
sorry.
even say the ugly ones. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say this. It's not the ugly ones. It's the insecure ones. Because you can be beautiful and still have an ugly spirit. You could be ugly and be one of the most beautifulest people that you've ever met in this world, because your spirit does something to a person. So I ain't even gonna say it's the ugly ones, and I'm not gonna say it's the conceited ones. But well, I'm not gonna say it's the conceited ones. But what I'm gonna also say is that the ones that have the low self-esteem, the ones that was taught that they're better than having a reality check. Beauty, this too shall pass. Beauty's gonna pass. What
Mhm.
do you have after that to make sure that you are able to support yourself?
And that makes me go back to the original point why people can't take that accountability. Those insecurities,
Mm-hmm.
that's low self esteem. And I know
Mm-hmm.
particularly I have gone through like where I'm a person who minds my business. I truly do live my own world, which that's just me, but I live my world, mind my business, do my thing. And I generally try to be good to people. And then some people like may, they'll bring something to my attention, like, okay, well, let me look at this. I'm like, well, I'm trying to communicate, like, well, I'm not understanding where you're coming from because I'm literally just minding my business.
Mm-hmm.
But
But some
because
people
they're
don't
trying to
like you to
force
mind your
some,
own business. Some
but
people
that's
don't
the thing.
like
It's
that.
like
Some people don't like you. Go ahead, baby. I'm sorry.
I'm like, it's just like they're forcing me to try to be a friend or try to be their friend or their best friend or in their circle
Mm-hmm.
of clique. I'm like, okay, I don't think you're a bad person, but I see how you move.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't. That ain't how I move. I'm not a person who judges, but I'm just saying like I don't click that way. That way you click.
And I won't even say it's judging. But what I will say though is that, like you're saying, the way I move and the way you move is on two different pages. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought at one time we were on the same page, but I see that we're not on the same page. So what I'm gonna do, because me being who I am, I'm gonna remove
Mm-hmm.
myself from the situation to give
Exactly.
you time to get you and yours together. Now, if you get it
Exactly.
together, we can be cool. But if you can't get it together, I'ma holler at you when I holler at you. But don't be mad and upset with me, because I'm pulling my energy back from this situation.
That part.
Because foolishness is foolishness. I don't give a damn who you is. Foolishness is
Pure,
foolishness.
pure. Don't matter how you try to dress up, disguise it, it
Hmm.
shows. It's like that all. What's that all state commercial with Mr. Mayhem?
Hmm.
It shows itself. And I'm just at the point. I guess the older I get, I should listen, honey. Life is too short. Life is just too short. I ain't got time to be sitting there arguing with people or trying to get yourself. I gotta get myself right, honey. I gotta get
I.
myself right.
You know what? It's as simple as this. I ain't even one of the ones. I feel like that if not only do I have to protect my energy, but it is what it is with me now. I'm at that
Hmm.
point in my life, and I'm at that point in my it and it's pissing me off now. It's not even the teenagers. I mean, not the teenagers. It's not even the 35-year-olds. It's the 40, 45, the 50-year-olds that's still acting a fool. Ain't you old enough to know that? Get your shit together.
Child. That's what I because when I get in my 40s, honey, I'm gonna be living fabulous. I'm not trying to hate on nobody. No, baby. That's the way you supposed to be living your fabulous life. Not giving a damn
Child,
about what
child,
anyone says
I
or
done heard a
thinks.
nigga, girl, I done heard a nigga say that they like for their folks to take and bow down and yield to them. This ain't Consuela.
Excuse me?
I am not her. I am not Consuela. I don't know what to tell you.
He wants his women to bow down and kneel to him.
Hmm. Submissive is the word they use.
Girl, bye. I'm gonna submit your ways right to
So
this front door. Bye.
no, see, my counter to that was is that what have you done to make me feel like that you're submissive, that I want to be submissive to you?
Well, why is that a requirement for submissive? Like, what the that?
When have you paid a bill?
That's some
I'm gonna wait.
controlling shit. Wait, first off, does he pay his own bills currently?
I'm gonna
Ah,
wait.
mm, my God, today, my God, and today. Whew, fix it, Jesus.
Hmm. Hmm.
So he really had the audacity to fix his lips and
The
use his
unmitigated
tongue.
balls.
Woo! See, mm-mm, mm-mm.
That's why I
No,
started off the conversation the way I did. I said, why is it
no,
so hard for men to admit?
because, mm-mm. And I'm not trying to say where that even came from, because even in the old school, yes, our daddies and granddaddies were some players, but one thing's for certain, and two things for sure, they made sure at home was taken care of. Food was on the table, the children were taken care of, wife and children got anything they want.
Well, if you're trying to make sure that I'm gonna be your next um friend because you want to make a relationship, I shouldn't have to. You shouldn't question who, what, when, and why, where, what I'm doing,
Hmm.
or say that I'm being demanding. I'll wait.
But you want me to kneel and bow to you. Mm.
Not now, Grandpa.
Oh,
Not
child.
now, Grandpa.
Girl, leave me into something else. I've heard it all now. Girl.
Jatari. Look, y'all know I've already expressed to y'all because if you have not seen it on my channel, I done told my whole rape situation. And there's a whole other extras to go along with that. If I done survived it, this ain't no Tina Turner. Nigga ain't gonna
Okay.
be putting not a hand on me. Child, let me plug my phone up so we be sitting up here and Lily be talking about her damn self because this phone will say, if you would like to make a phone call, please hang up and dial the call again. Oh
Girl.
yeah.
I agree with Tatari though. That's exactly that's a red flag, honey. Because next thing he gonna want your check. He gonna want you to see spend all the time for you. Cut your no. Mm-mm.
See, the thing that gets me though is that okay, if you want a person to submit, to me, submission to me is completely different. If you are
Mm-hmm.
doing what a man's supposed to do in the relationship, submission is gonna come automatically. It's gonna make me want to submit to you. But if your energy is not giving me, if my energy is not picking up on, you got this done, you got that done, you got this taken care of, you got that taken care of, the fuck I'm gonna be doing it.
Hmm.
And I ain't trying to say I'm just big bad bold this that and the third because I'm not. But I know where my place is, and if you're
I'm
not
about to say
giving
you know
me,
your value, your worth.
because
Plain and simple.
I'd have been through too much hell to allow foolishness to come through, and I'm still going through more hell. No ma'am, no sir, no cheese and
Say
crackers,
it for again
no
for the people in
biscuit.
the back. Say it again for the people in the back, honey. Why are you allowing foolishness in your life when you've been there, done that, and learned from it? Don't repeat
Oh,
the same mistakes,
mm-mm,
honey.
mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. Back up what you just said when you did what? When you learned from it. That's
Ah!
where I'm different from other people. Some people ain't learned from it. Some people are still trying to get validated from foolishness. You can't. And if you thought you could, sorry to be the one to let you know it. You can't. You cannot be validated from foolishness. If a person cannot validate themselves, how the hell can they validate you? Number two, not that's number two. Number one, why look for somebody else to validate you?
That okay? That part.
If you can't
That
validate
part.
yourself and know your own self worth, why we even have this conversation? I'll wait.
Because when you know yourself and find yourself, baby, can't nobody tell you a damn thing about who you are. Because you know who you are. And you
Period.
know where you're going.
Period. Say that for one more time for the ones in the back.
I say you know who you are and know where you're going. When you find yourself, you love yourself, you have boundaries and you know your value and you understand your integrity.
Because I done told folks, it's simple as this with me. I love my fat rolls.
Ha!
I love the bad toe, the good toe, and all of the toes in between. I love all of me.
All of me, honey.
On the same token, if I had to take and trade something to get somebody else to validate me, I guess I won't be trading it.
Hmm.
Because I don't need you to validate who I know I am. At one point in time, and I'm not gonna sit up here and act like that I came into the game with this. At one time, yes, I seek validation. It's just like when you're at work, you seek a form of validation from your peers, not only your peers, but from your boss to know that you're doing a good job.
Mhm.
But when you know that you know that you know that you the shit, you don't need nobody to validate it because your paycheck gonna show it.
And the way to become the shit is to mind, literally mind your business.
Wrong
Mind it.
business. But people can't understand
Mind
that
your business.
because, like, baby, my new boss, I believe this motherfucker love hearing his own self talk. For fucking 10 hours a day, this bastard talk about absolutely nothing for 10 hours a day. And some days I just want to walk up to him and be like, Monique, shut the fuck up, bitch. Is what I want to say. But I know if I say that, we're going to have to fight. So sometimes you just have to take a look at him and be like, and y'all know they already say I got arrested bitch face anyway. So
Oh, girl.
you listening to me? Mm-hmm. You tired of me talking? Mm-hmm. And keep it
Well,
moving.
I'm glad you know, girl. You you got the memo.
I'm glad you don't read this face enough for you to understand.
Cause baby. Oh, child.
Baby.
My God today.
But like I said, y'all, I ain't come on here to be on here no hour. I came on here to be on here like 10, 15 minutes for real. But I just had to get that off my chest because I was having a
And it was a
conversation.
word.
I was having a conversation with somebody and I felt like I needed to express and explain it. Not necessarily explain, but ask opinions because opinions are like assholes, everybody got one. But I wanted
Hmm.
to make sure that what I was feeling was not the wrong thing. Because sometimes we do get in our feelings. So let's just call a thing a thing. And
Hmm.
you necessarily you're not looking for validation of what you're talking about, but you're looking for a different opinion on how you said something. But again, I'm using this for um reference. When I seen Jatari the last couple times, that I'm gonna fight you, and means you gonna this, that, and the third. That's me going back and forth, and Jatari know from a fact that it ain't nothing serious. You know what I'm saying? But somebody else may hear that and be like, "Ooh, she's just a bully, this, that, and the third." No, that's just part of my people know who I am. So my people know
Right.
that's part of my love language to my people. But dang, why do you have to keep going? I feel kind of sort of like, what is that movie it was? Every night I come out, I gotta fight to prove my love. I don't have time for that. What's up, John Michaels? I love you too, boo. Long time no see. But in my closing, I'm gonna say this. The show will be back on Sunday, so the cool down will be back on Sunday featuring the panelists. 'Cause I don't know who else gonna be coming on here, so I don't want to say this one's gonna be here, that one's gonna be there. Right, Jatara. Some people are so uptight. But okay, since we said this, I really want to go on here and say this though. So one of my viewers said to me, and I ain't gonna call no names, but one of my viewers said to me that, you know, one of the topics and shows that we were talking about, we were slightly being ignorant on what we was talking about. So I want to clear that one up. This is what I meant about what we were talking about in the video. For anyone that any male, any person of the LGBT plus community that is male, that's trans, that has either been trans female or female to male, that identifies as male, it is harder for them to receive any form of um what's the word I'm looking for assistance versus a female, whether pregnant, whether with child, without child, because I'm just going to break it down to the simplest form, whether it's any of that, it's easier for a female in the United States to get assistance versus a male, a trans female, which is under the female umbrella. They still look at a trans female as a male. Let's just be real. We're going to call a thing a thing. And it's easier for a female, especially if that female has a child, they're going to get food stamps, Medicaid, public assistance. They're going to get help with this, they're going to get help with that. But the same thing, and my point that I was making, I can only speak for me, that I was making in the video that I've been talking about is that the same the same privileges that they are allotted for them, I feel like it should be spread equally across the board. If we all need assistance, they should be able to help each and every one of us out equally. Not that just because a female has a child or a female is pregnant with child and they have not delivered yet, because most men prey on, I won't say most, some men that are in situations with women are because they're pregnant and the assistance that that woman gets. Let's just be real. A lot of females, especially black females, that get onto there, I ain't gonna say black, a lot of females, I'm just gonna put it like that, that gets onto assistant programs, they get no good boyfriends that's with them. The boyfriends dressing better than they dress the kids.
Huh.
I was wondering why you keep saying you're gonna get me together. No, I'm gonna get you to get. Okay, so if you want to go ahead and put it out there, I'm gonna put it out there. Desiree had said that we were speaking from an ignorant place because I was gonna get call him out, but since he wanted to take a put his name out there, I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there. Desiree said we were speaking from an ignorant place, basically saying that we were speaking from a place of people of quote unquote, straights and or um, whites that has privilege. The whole dialogue was split in two. Golden had a video that which we had started the conversation from. I picked up on the second half of it, which we continued from, but it was something completely different. But we all started talking. How many males, whether they have children or not, get the same amount of income tax? I'm gonna use that for instance, that a female that claims all of the kids do. How many males do you know of that is on any type of public assistance without having some kind of deathly illness that they're on the system? All I'm saying is it should be equal. If it's good for us to allow females to get onto the system, why is it not good to is why is it not good to allow men to get onto the system too? More of the halfway houses and the what do you call the houses that the shelters and stuff are designed for women. They're not designed for men. They're designed for women and kids, not just for women and kids is what it's basically designed for. And how many times have we always heard that there's women that have suffered from statutory rape and different things, but what about the males that do? Correct me when I'm wrong, y'all. How many within the community that we know of that has been raped by women that says they coochie got the power to change anyone from gay to straight? I'm awake. All I'm saying is that it wasn't laid out to be a target against women. All I'm saying is that we all are trying to fight for certain equal rights. And if one group is allotted, the other group should be allotted too. That's all I'm saying. And if it was conveyed differently, I apologize. But at the time, that's what we were feeling. And I'm not going back on anything that I said because I still feel the same way. If a woman gets into public assistance and she allows the baby daddy that she ain't seen no more that every time he want to get wet and she get pregnant comes and lays up with her, but she's still going to buy him Jordans. But when your kids wearing Family Dollar clothes, you correct me when I'm wrong. Or they're having steak and lobster and the kids eating ramen noodles. Not every case is that way, but a lot, over 85% of the cases are that way. Y'all correct me when I'm wrong. And I'm not targeting one group of women versus the other group of women because you have both of them, the same spectrum. I'm just saying, have it equal across the board. As easy as it is for most men can only get food stamps when they've paid into unemployment, and they can only get those food stamps for so long, and they get less than half of what a female gets on them. And then if they have children, they cut into the food stamps in order to supplement to give to the female, which I understand that. But when is enough and it should be equal across the board? Oh, so you saying you were meaning it was mainly Golden and Lily's part ending conversation. I missed the context. But we all were saying it though because let's not get it twisted. Golden is not on any systems. Golden has a business, and Golden's not here, so I ain't gonna speak too much about her business though. But she's like T.S. Medici. She has a business, but she also has a child. So a lot of things that are allotted to a person that is in low income, she's not able to get due to the fact that she has her own business and she's doing the thing. She's an entrepreneur. So entrepreneurship, you don't get a lot of the luxuries that the common everyday person gets, because the most common everyday person, you're working a 9 to 5 for somebody else. And I think when Lily was talking about it, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lily, when you were talking about it, you wanted it to basically, what I was saying, be equal across the board. If you need assistance, you should be able to get assistance. And you're here, you can correct anything that you need to feel like you need
No,
to
because
correct.
I remember because my whole thing is I'm tired of single people being taxed so much. Like for me, like I'm not saying because I definitely work in social service, so yes, a lot of these women, all these women talk about, they do need the services, but there's so many other groups of people who need the services. It's men, black queer people that also need the services. It's not just it's not just single women with children. Yes, they
Mhm.
need resources, but truth be told, look at living in this country, we all need the resources,
Amen.
and
We
we live
all
in
need some assistance.
a very capitalist society where unfortunately, like think about why the hell do we got to pay for water?
Why we got to pay for lights when it's a necessity? It's not a want.
Right? Why you got to pay for shelter? It's
Why do you
like
have to pay for food whenever people, like, no tea, no shade? I seen the other night on TV, when we as Americans, we have expiration dates on food and we throw all this food away, but you don't want people to go through and to pick through the dumpsters to eat it.
uh
Whoa, let me just rewind that back. Why do we even have that much food thrown away instead of giving it to people that need it?
Or you know what? Even another fact I always see when I'm going out and I see so many homeless people, but right across the street it's a whole bunch of a big old just building empty. This could be a shelter. This could be a soup kitchen. This could be a
But
resource center.
the first people that's going to get into that shelter, or into that homeless shelter, and who's going to get assistance from that? Female.
That's
And
true.
I hate to say it like this, white females is gonna rule before
I'm about
anyone.
to say the white female is definitely gonna be.
Black is gonna be at the bottom again, because that social construct is still there. White is right and
And
black is
truth be
right.
told, these shelters aren't funded as much as they should be. Sometimes it's unfortunately it's so sad to see, and I've saying this because I've worked with these populations before. Sometimes it actually is safer for them to be on the streets than in the shelters, unfortunately,
Yeah.
because there's so much politics behind healthcare and just the whole social service sector in this country. It's really sad. It's really sad. It's literally limited. It really depends on who you are. If you're lucky to even get the resources that are available.
Yep, because I used to work with disabled and handicapped kids. Not only that, I used to work with disabled kids and adults. Do you not realize most people over 65 don't even realize that they can get is what is called elderly consults, that will come in and be like a form of a life coach for them to help them get the medications and stuff that they need instead of them paying out of pocket for free. They can help them get the wheelchairs and access to the different doctors and stuff, and not have to worry about trying to catch a bus standing on the corner in the freezing cold, or paying for it out of pocket. A lot of people don't realize that. And then it's a shame, it's a crying shame and disgrace the way that we treat our mentally handicapped kids and adults.
huh.
It really is. It is a shame, just because we find a person has a tick about something, that we just take and automatically throw them away. We like that they're not salvageable. They're less than human then. And I'm gonna leave you with this before I stop this live. American people, we as a people, we need our a good old fashioned old school ass whooping. When we care more about a dog on the streets shivering in the cold versus a homeless person, a vet that's went in risk their lives for our freedoms, and we won't even help them get up on their feet. It is
Mhm.
horrible. And I know people gonna get pissed off and mad with me because I've heard this at some people at work. Oh, we're pets or animals or whatever don't ask to be here. Those people didn't ask to
Uh,
go. That you were asked that you, but we asked those people to go and risk their lives for us, and we can't even take care of our military. It's
Yes, because
ridiculous.
the way we treat our veterans is absolutely horrific.
And until you've
Absolutely.
been on the front line and you've seen them, and not only them, but even our mentally handicapped kids, you have those people running out in the street, and sometimes they get hit and ran over by cars, and those people just keep going. Or a person that is homeless, they hit them, they keep going. They don't stop. But if it's a dog, it's 20 cars parked and trying to make sure that one dog is taken care of. I don't get it. You value a dog's life
Oh,
versus
it's
you
all about
value
money,
a
honey.
person's life. And
It's all
then,
about money.
do you realize, most people don't realize you can get more fines, fees, and jail time by taking and hurting an animal versus killing and hurting a person? How many commercials do we see with PETA and the World Pet something and all this kind of stuff? How many? But
Hmm.
how many times do we stop and we see commercials that advertise to send money in to help your local vet, send money in to help your local disabled person, jobs for disabled vets and disabled uh, vets that suffer from PTSD. How many jobs do we see advertised for that?
And again, giving them free health care and access to mental health services.
It is, Tyra. I mean, I'm just calling it what it is, a thing, a thing. It's very messed up that you're breaking Nick for. And I think that's rooted in back in the day when people valued their animals so much more because I'm going to use horses for instance. Horses back in the day meant so much more to people because they had to take them from one place to the next versus them, you know, not just being they're not domesticated animals. They were actually used for something. But most people nowadays they don't value the next person's life. Even and it's sad to say this, brothers and sisters don't even value each other's life anymore.
uh,
And it's very sad.
uh.
But people, we got to get it together. My whole
For
purpose of
me, it's
coming on
not
here
even for
tonight,
one over the other. It's just
my whole thing of getting on here tonight was it wasn't even talking about one or the other. It's the outsourcing of who you are. Like when is enough? When do we
hmm.
take those words that we say that we actually love a person and we start showing a person that we love each other? When do you be so quick to try to get an understanding versus be so quick to try to fight somebody? Uh-oh, here come Diva One trying to get me together. It's plenty of veterans target services and jobs, at least in North Carolina, to be better at advertising under that. Correct.
Yeah, they need
All I'm
better
saying is
advertising.
all I'm saying is this, Diva One. And like I said, I'm about to get out of here. All I'm saying is this. It's disheartening to see that people care more about an animal on the side of the road versus trying to help someone that they know either is mentally incapable of taking care of themselves or a vet that has volunteered their services to a nation and then we just let them suffer. That's all I'm saying. Whether it's PTSD, whether it's they came back and they may be missing a limb, whether they come back and whatever they might have lost it seeing a fellow, you know, crew member, because I don't know the proper term, but seeing a fellow ally or buddy killed in the services. And it's a shame how we treat them. But we would rather sit up here and pour millions and millions of dollars into damn animal shelters and stuff. But what about them? It's not always good just to take a lock a person up because you don't. understand what it is. And I'm not saying send everybody to padded rooms. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is get people trained that is well suited to understand them and get them the help and the resources that they need. It's like with this
Or
whole situation going on overseas right now, how many of them finna go over there and be involved in this on some foolishness? But that's a whole different other subject, and I'm gonna get into that one. Any final words, Lily?
child, tonight was a word, honey.
You know what?
Are
You
you
know how I get.
outsourcing yourself? Are you outsourcing yourself?
You know how it is with me. When I feel something on my heart, I gotta let it go.
I understand. Yes,
Diva
yes,
will
yes.
explain it to me. Diva said, I'm one of those folks that do care more about animals than fellow humans, though I would still give to the homeless. It, can you explain it to me like shortly? I'm not saying this wrong, but what I'm saying though is that I feel like it should be some type of balance.
But it sounds like with her, it is a balance.
Hmm?
Like you give it, it sounds like she giving to she cares about else, but if you give it to the homeless, like so to me you're doing both.
All I'm saying though is a lot of with okay, for instance with cats and dogs. If more pet owners would be what's what I'm looking for, be smarter in their choices. If they would take and get their animals neutered, you wouldn't have so many cats running around here that stray cats that don't have the proper homes and the proper ways of taking care of them. That's a little bit different to say from a human's aspect of it because a mentally disabled person wasn't asked to be here. And we asked a vet to go and put their life in danger for our freedoms and liberties, but we can't help them when they need help too. Am I making sense, Lily, or am I not making sense? Because if I'm not making
No,
sense,
I get you.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to offend anyone, and I'm not trying to make anyone feel a certain way for their beliefs or what they want to. And I can't, for God knows, I cannot make a person do what they want to do with their own money. But all I'm saying is that a
Oh,
person that has, let me see what deep one. With animals, my love is unconditional. With fellow humans, it is more situational. I understand that, but you still young though too.
I can get that. I can
I
get
definitely
that.
understand that, but you're still young though too, and you got a lot of life to live. And I mean I understand the companionship. I honestly do. I understand the companionship with an animal, but it's also and I'm not throwing jabs at you, Diva One, but I'm saying though, it's also your responsibility with the animals that you have is to make sure if you can financially support them. The next person may not be able to. So why not take and have that animal spayed or neutered so you don't have a rampant running of animals in that particular situation? Like, have y'all seen on hoarders that see the house full of cats or dogs, and all of the dogs and cats in the houses are emaciated because they have the food and the water and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it
Well,
depends on the
I
person.
think
I don't take that.
yeah, I feel like with people like we were talking about earlier, some people you just have to cut off. So yes, and it's situational. So I'm not. I can definitely see where they're coming from that because if that's the case, I'm the same way. Shit, with people, it's situational because and it's not saying I don't hate you or not, but it's just like okay, well, no love lost, but
I
if
get
we ain't
that,
clicking, it's big people.
I get that and I understand that, but then what about with the same thing? Same token though, with the crazy cat that you can't get along with. You gonna take and stuff it and cook to the car and just drop it off on the side of the road wherever, or you gonna take it to the shelter where it's gonna be taken care of.
I would think it's a shelter, obviously.
That's my point.
Take it
They
to the
have a
shelter.
place to go, is what I'm saying. They're not wandering the streets out of their mind or off their meds because they couldn't afford to get their meds. That's my point. Anyway, y'all, we have been all over the place with this conversation because this conversation's been from one space to the next. If I offended you, I wasn't trying to offend anyone. If I made you think, I did what I came to do. If you love me, you love me. If you hate me, I can still sleep. Um, and as simple as that. I mean,
She said,
you know, I just have random thoughts, and I like to get on here and voice my thoughts and opinions with y'all, getting your uh, outcome of the situation. So, Lily, final thoughts because I'm about to get up out of here for real now. Diva One, I got me
well,
together. I love me some Diva One. Diva One, when you gonna come back on here, Diva One? It's about time for our anniversary show. When you gonna come back on here?
yes, honey. Let the librarian come and read.
Yeah, so diva.
Give old
And then
nasty.
I'm still waiting for the safari,
What you call him?
the safari part two.
It's a
Diva One
safari.
know what I'm talking about. I'm still waiting for the second part of that review. It's been over a year now, good. You don't had time to experiment. Oh Lord, I
Yeah,
love me some Diva. But any final say those before we end the
well,
shows?
you know what? This show is so funny that you came on tonight with that exact topic because it has been something that's been very active on my mind this week, and we'll talk a little bit probably backstage about it. But this idea of just outsourcing yourself and validation, and then trying to be, having people be accountable, or you being accountable, if them not meeting you where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just be like, I got to value myself, and I got to walk away from my integrity. Oh my God, y'all! If you came in midway or just coming in now watching the playback, honey, go ahead and save, like, and share this video because y'all, it's 2022. If y'all don't know, 22 is a very magical number. This is a year everyone is of magic. So this is the year where it's time to get right. It's time to get ready. It's time to manifest. It's time to plant those seeds. Whatever you was thinking about doing last year, baby, this is the of action. And
In the
I
words of
speak that to all of you.
yes, in the words of TD Jakes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Get ready, get ready, get ready. And I
Baby.
cannot wait to see y'all back here on Sunday, honey.
Yes. So all I'm gonna say is this. Y'all, it stands true. God only made one you. If you're not you, who the hell else can you be? Love is an actual word. Love is a thing that separate us from Neanderthals. Love is something that separate us from animals because animals hop from backwards and forth, and unfortunately, humans we do the same thing a lot of times. So we can learn something from some of those animals that do mate only once in their lifetime and they keep it. But the main thing tonight was is your outsourcing of your own energy.
Mm.
Protect and guard your own energy. Protect and guard your own self. If you can't, the main thing is learning to love self. Learning to love self what self is and help self grow. But if you know that you still hold on to drama and to stuff that happened, situations that happened to you 12, 13, 14 years ago, and Uncle Fred and Aunt Susan Mae and Billie Jean done took and kicked the bucket, and you still holding on to that, when the hell you gonna get over it? When you gonna move forward in your life that you're not stuck in that same shamble? It is 2022. This is 2022 has never come back again. This is the year to
Mm.
get up and get up off your do nothing and do something with you and yourself and your life. So
Mm.
take it from someone that started something and is blossoming, is growth. Take it from someone that was once upon a time was a person that was sitting in the audience. Now I'm pretty good at what I do and I enjoy what I do. At my final closing, I'm gonna say this: love is what love does. When you say you love or support something, love and support it wholeheartedly. And I stand here before you, or sit here before you, because I ain't standing up at all. But I sit here before you, can take chastisement, can take you to what you said was wrong. Here, this is where I see that. But when we get into a dialect, which this is what it is, a dialect, a conversation. When we get into that conversation, don't be upset at my opinion too, because opinions like assholes, everybody got one. So if you can't respect mine, don't expect me to respect yours. Because respect is a given and a take, not just a one-sided thing. With that being said, y'all keep shining while I'm gone. I will see y'all on Sundays. Peace, love, and hair grease. And to all the ones that floated in the sky and didn't speak, thank y'all too for being a part of the show. Y'all have an amazing evening, and God loves you, and so do I.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face.